What's up, guys? Aces Meme here, and welcome back to my yearly or so NFL season prediction video. NFL season and playoff predictions. We got the 2023-2024 season. Obviously, the NFL season's about a month away, so perfect time to do this. I actually don't have a playlist for this on my channel, so I'll make a playlist for this one after the fact. I can't remember all the off-season moves. Bear with me. Obviously, the big one, Aaron Rodgers is not Green Bay no more. Tom Brady's gone. All that. So we'll have to keep all of that in mind with these teams. Let's turn divisions on. But yeah, we'll have to keep that all in mind with these teams. And I'm just going to give my predictions on how I think each team is going to do in this upcoming season. And yeah, it's going to be a good old video of mine and whatnot. So yeah, let's go get to it. We're going to do, let's see, which one, NFC or AFC? I'll do AFC first. So first off, we got the Raiders. This means mini bye, which means they played Thursday the week before. That's what that means. And this means full bye, means they came off their bye week. So the first game the Raiders have is Denver. I'm expecting Denver to be well improved from last year because their new coach, I forgot his name. Sean Payton, I think his name is. But anyway, the old Saints coach. By the way, I'm not giving a score for each game. I'm not doing all that. But I'll go ahead and pick the Broncos to win this game. Raiders or Buffalo, I'm going to pick Buffalo. Raiders or Steelers, I'm going to pick the Steelers. Pretty plain and simple. I'm expecting the Steelers and Denver. I'm expecting the Steelers to stay around the same level. Maybe a little bit worse, maybe a little bit better. I'm expecting Broncos to take a decent step up, but not like insanely good like a lot of people. And I just expect the Bills to just tear stuff up, but they'll have a bit of competition in the AFC East now. Then you got the Chargers and Raiders. I'm picking the Chargers. I'm pretty high on the Chargers this year. They made the playoffs last year, then blew it. I think they'll make it back. Green Bay or the Raiders. I think Jordan Love is going to have a rough first season. I definitely think the Packers will have a losing record. We'll get there when we get there. So I think the Raiders pick up the first win against the Packers. Against the Patriots, I think the Patriots lose to the Raiders again. Not necessarily because I think the Patriots are worse than the Raiders, but I don't expect the Patriots to be all that. In fact, I think I expect the Patriots to be the worst team in the AFC East this year. Unless they take a good step forward, which they should take a step forward. I don't know. The AFC East is a gauntlet this year. Then you have the Bears and Raiders. I think the Bears will get this win. A lot of people are hyping the Bears this year, which I don't really get. At best, they'll be an 8-9, 9-8 team. Maybe barely make the playoffs. They're not going to be no 12-win team or anything like that. But I definitely think they're better than the Raiders to win. The Lions, I'm pretty high on the Lions this year. They could possibly win their division. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Lions to beat the Raiders in Week 8. Right now, Raiders, y'all are 2-6. This is not good. They have the Giants. The Giants are interesting. They have a whole dispute with Saquon right now. I'm going to go under the guise that Saquon is back by this point in the season, and I'll pick the Giants to win this game. But I think the Giants are just going to be very, very mediocre, especially if Saquon sits out, these first few games. But I'm going to be under the impression Saquon's back this year. Then you have the Jets and Raiders. I think the Jets clean the house, absolutely dominate. Again, the Jets are going to be the Jets are going to be a playoff team without a doubt, with Aaron Rodgers over there, as long as Aaron Rodgers does well, you know what I mean? Which I'm pretty sure it's fair to expect he will. Dolphins, Chiefs, they'll beat the Raiders as well. I'm sorry, Raiders, you guys are just not good enough to compete with these teams. You're a pretty bad team, to say the least. So now you're 2-10 going into your bye week. Coming out of your bye week, you play Minnesota, who's coming off of their bye week. I'm expecting Minnesota to be very mediocre this year. And I think with the rest, the Raiders will get the win over Minnesota, but I do think Minnesota is a better team and will definitely finish with a way better record. But by way better, not like great, but like very mediocre. The Chargers, again, I think the Chargers will beat you. I think the Chiefs will beat you. This is very easy to understand. The Chiefs are defending Super Bowl champs, could potentially go back to back and be the next dynasty. The Chargers, they're just a better team, and again, I'm high on the Chargers this year. Then the Colts. I'm expecting the Colts to have a decent season with Anthony Richardson under center, but they're definitely not going to be a playoff team or division-winning team. But I do think this is one game that the Colts will slip up here, and I think the Raiders will take advantage and get a win. And then closing out the season, Broncos potentially playing for a playoff spot. The Raiders, the season's over. Broncos win. The Raiders go 4-13. Very disappointing season. Next up, we have the Chargers. The Chargers open up with a really good game, week 1, against Miami. This is a really interesting game for me, because I'm expecting Miami to be pretty good, but not like I'm expecting them to be a playoff team. I do think the Chargers will be better, but I wouldn't be shocked if Miami wins this game. But I'm just gonna go with the home team, the Chargers here. It's just the best way I can look at that. Then you have the Titans. The Titans, I'm expecting to take a step backwards. Not necessarily step backwards this year, but they won't definitely be at full force like they were a couple years ago. I think their championship window is either just slightly open if they get miracles, or is completely closed by this point. I think the Chargers will win this game. Then comes the Chargers versus the Vikings. The Vikings coming off a mini bye, as you guys can see. And again, I'm expecting the Vikings to be pretty mediocre, and I can see the Vikings winning this game. Going from home to Nashville to the Vikings. You have 1 week to do all that, but 1 week in between each. But, I'm definitely expecting the Vikings to win just with that rest. Obviously, again, being the Raiders. Then you go into a very early bye week. That's always tricky. Then you come off your bye week and you're going to play the Cowboys. As you guys know, I'm a Cowboys fan, but if I'm being realistic here, I think the Chargers will win by like 3 points maybe. Then we have the Chargers and Chiefs. This obviously just decides the division this year. The Chiefs coming off of a mini bye, Chargers coming off of a home game against Dallas. I think the Chiefs win. It's pretty easy to understand. Like, it's the Chiefs. Then you have the Bears and the Chiefs. And by the way, speaking of the Chiefs Super Bowl rings look nice. But anyways, then you got the Bears and the Chargers. Honestly, I expect the Chargers to win. Again, I expect the Bears to be solid, but nothing special. I think the Chargers, though, will be a good team. I think the Jets will handle New York. I think the Jets will handle the Chargers at home fairly nicely. I think they're probably... The Jets will either be amazing and the Chargers will be good, or the Jets and Chargers will be on even footing. But since the Jets are home, I definitely think they'll take care of business against the Chargers. The Lions, I think the Lions will go into the Chargers' house and win. Detroit here's coming off a bye week. Again, I'm pretty high on Detroit. I don't think they'll make a Super Bowl run or anything, but I definitely am high on Detroit this year. Then you got the Packers. The Packers should have no competition against the Chargers. The Chargers should take care of business against the Packers. The Ravens can range from being a absolutely amazing team, playoff lock team with Lamar Jackson, or a not playoff team and just mediocre without. It really depends if Lamar Jackson stays healthy. I'm going to assume Lamar Jackson will stay healthy for the good grace of things, right? And I will take the Ravens in this one, beating the Chargers at the Chargers' home, at their place. The last 4 games, pretty rough for the Chargers. But then you go to Foxborough, which Foxborough is still a tough place to play. But again, I'm not expecting the Patriots to be amazing or anything. I definitely think the Chargers will be better, so I'll expect the Chargers to win that game. I'll expect the Chargers to win this home game against the Broncos, beat the Raiders again, and then you got the Bills. This is probably one of the bigger games on the schedule because, either these two teams could be still fighting for the division at this point, and this win could very well determine that, or this could be determining some of the wild card playoff seedings, right? I think the Bills are the better team, but I think off of this nice hot win streak, the Chargers will beat the Bills here. Don't look, Bills, I like you guys, but I don't know. Just something about this game, where it lands, Chargers coming off of a mini bye, as you guys see. I feel like, and, the fact it's at the Chargers on a hot streak, I think the Chargers get this one. However, I think the Chargers will continue that win streak against the Broncos. Again, Broncos, I think you guys will be good, but I don't see you guys winning these two Chargers games. I'm sorry. I think this hot streak will be too tough to stop. But the Chiefs will bring the Chargers back in right before playoff time, making the Chargers go 11-6, a very respectable record. Speaking of the Chiefs, we got the defending Super Bowl champion, the Chiefs here, open up with a fantastic game against the Lions. The last time the Lions and Chiefs played was before Stafford went to the Rams, and my God, it was an amazing game. It was so underrated, wasn't really talked about, but it was an amazing game. But it's at the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win the game, but I do think the Lions will give them a very tough scare and challenge. However, coming off of a mini bye, you face Jacksonville in Duval County. I'm expecting Jacksonville to be still pretty good this year like they were last year, but I'm expecting the Chiefs to take care of business. Same thing against the Bears, and then we get Chiefs versus Jets. A lot of people are seeing this as the 1 seed matchup. I'm not sure if we'll see if the Jets will win the division. In my opinion, we'll see when we get there. But I think this will be an amazing battle. But I will take the Jets in that one. The Chiefs normally lose their games earlier in the season anyways. The Chiefs are on the road. It'll be a very hyped game, especially if the Jets are also 3-0 by this point. But you will bounce back by beating the Vikings, Broncos, and Chargers respectfully. And then you're going to face the Broncos again. And this one, I think the Broncos finally snapped that losing streak. I think the Broncos do beat the Chiefs at Mile High. I think the Broncos will be decent, and they'll definitely win some games they're not supposed to. This will be a game that the Chiefs are supposed to win, and just somehow, some way, it works in the Broncos' favor. Then you go to Germany to play the Dolphins. This will be a very intriguing game. A lot, far travel. Dolphins, Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champ, a decent playoff contender. But I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. I don't think the Dolphins can really compete here. Then you got a bye week, and then, of course, you got the Super Bowl rematch, the Eagles versus the Chiefs. That Super Bowl was awesome. Fuck the Eagles, but that Super Bowl was awesome. But between these two, I'm going to take the Chiefs again. They're both coming off of their bye week, and the Chiefs are just by far the better team. It's not even close. They'll beat the Raiders. They'll beat the Packers. The Packers are just not good enough to compete. Then the Bills. This will be a big game. I think the Bills will get the win here. They're coming off of bye week, and they have a revenge gene for the Chiefs. The Chiefs will beat the Patriots, and then Chiefs versus Bengals. I think. Oh shoot, my headphone's about to die. That's kind of crazy. Or did they just power off? Oh, they just powered off. Okay. I mean, I guess that's gonna happen. But Chiefs versus Bengals. I could honestly see this finishing in a tie, but I think the Chiefs will continue their small little win streak against the Bengals, making the Chiefs go 14-3. Really good record. And, of course, the last team in the AFC West is the Broncos. Broncos versus the Commanders. The Commanders do got new ownership, and I expect them to be a pretty decent team, but I'll take the Broncos in this one. Broncos versus Dolphins. I'll take the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are a better team. I think they'll beat the Bears. Sorry for the cut. My mom walked in here. But anyways, like I said, I think Broncos beat the Bears. They're definitely better. I think Dolphins will beat the Broncos because I think the Dolphins are better. The Jets and Broncos. The Jets are just going to simply be a better team. Jets will win. Then, again, Broncos will lose to Chiefs. Packers coming off of their bye week against the Broncos coming off a mini bye week. I think the Broncos will get the win again. Packers, I just don't think it'll be that good this year. Bye week, then you're going to face the Bills. The Bills will take care of you. I think the Vikings will beat the Broncos because, again, I think the Broncos will just be a mixed bag team. Browns, I think the Browns will be solid. They're a very weird team. They're probably the team I'm going to struggle the most when it comes to predicting their record, but I think the Broncos will get the win. I think the Broncos will get the win against the Texans. They'll lose to the Chargers. The Lions will win, and then they'll beat the Patriots. Broncos going 9-8, definitely a good improvement, a step in the right direction, a winning record. But I don't see them being all that great. As you see, they'll, as of right now, of course, this will be different by the time I finish predicting, but as of where everyone's prediction stands, 8-0 against losing teams, but 1-8 against winning teams. Anyways, we got the AFC North up next. We got the Ravens. Again, for the sake of this prediction video, I'm going to assume Lamar stays completely healthy throughout the entire season, but obviously that's a hard prediction to make. But they open up with a very easy game against the Texans. The Texans should be better, but not great. They're definitely going to still be a lower team. They're a couple of seasons away and a couple good moves away from being a playoff team. The Bengals have ran the division the last couple of years. I really don't see that changing. I think the Bengals will get that win. The Colts, I think the Colts will be, again, somewhat okay this year, but they shouldn't be able to compete with the Ravens. The Ravens should take care of the Browns. The Ravens should take care of the Steelers. And then they go to the UK to face the Titans. And while I think the Titans are just going to be okay, I actually, for some reason, feel like the Titans might win this game. I think the Ravens will be better, but I think the Titans will win it. I think the Lions will beat the Ravens. Again, I'm pretty high on the Lions. Cardinals, not expecting them to do really anything. Nobody really is. Taking the Ravens. Seahawks, the Seahawks could be solid, but Ravens against the Browns again. Again, the Browns I feel weird about. We'll get to them in a bit. The Bengals, I think they'll split the series, so I think the Ravens will win that one. The Ravens now 9-3, beat the Chargers, going to their bye week, come against the Rams. A lot of people are low on the Rams this year. They have lost quite a bit of pieces the last couple of years, but I think the Rams will win this game. They'll win some games they're not supposed to, and I think they'll be better than from last year. I think Jacksonville will beat the Ravens. I think Jacksonville will be a pretty solid team. I think the 49ers will beat them. The 49ers should definitely be a great team again this year, especially if they go with Brock Purdy and he keeps up his fantastic play. Then you got the Ravens versus the Dolphins. I think the Ravens will win this one. But then I think the Steelers will beat the Ravens to finish it out, making the Ravens go 10-7, a very respectable record. Speaking of the Steelers, we got the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. I did predict them to have a losing season last year. Does that change? Well, they do start off with San Francisco, and San Francisco should just wipe the floor with the Steelers. Then the Browns. I think the Steelers will beat the Browns this time. Then they'll beat the Raiders. They should beat the Texans, lose to the Ravens. Again, a very early bye week, very tricky to play with. They're coming off their bye week, going to the Rams. I think they'll beat the Rams. I think they'll lose to Jacksonville again. I just think Jacksonville's just a better team. Titans, I think they'll beat the Titans. They'll lose to Green Bay. While I'm not high on Green Bay, again, Green Bay will win some games that they probably shouldn't. So I think Green Bay will win this one. I think the Browns will win this one. I think the Bengals will win this one. You should take care of the Patriots and the Cardinals pretty splendidly. Like, that's not that hard. I think the Colts will get them, though, because the Colts will be pretty decent. Bengals win. And then I think the Steelers beat the Seahawks. Give them a 9-8 record. Again, very respectable record. And a winning record because I think they will have a winning record just because it is the Steelers. It is Mike Tomlin. But I don't see them being great. We'll see if they make the playoffs once I'm done predicting all of this. Then we have the Browns. Wait, no, the Bengals, not the Browns. The Bengals. The Bengals open up with the Browns, and I think the Bengals get that win. I think the Bengals take care of these first 5 games. They should start 5-0. Come Seahawks time, I think the Seahawks get the upset. Um, then they go on a bye week, face the 49ers. I think the Bengals beat the 49ers. And I think the Bengals lose to the Bills because of that revenge factor the Bills have. They beat the Texans, lose to the Ravens, beat the Steelers, beat Jacksonville, beat the Colts. I don't know why that one typed. Beat the Vikings, and right now they're sitting at 12-4. They closing out. They're fighting for a top 2, top 3 seed. They're coming. However, the Browns are coming off a mini bye week, and I think the Browns put a little dent into the Bengals right before playoff time. Bengals go 12-5. Winning the division for their 3rd year in a row. The Browns, again, they lose. Titans, I think they'll beat the Titans. 49ers, you're losing to the 49ers. You're losing to the Colts. You'll beat the Seahawks and the Cardinals. This is just such an interesting schedule. I think they'll beat the Rams. Baker Mayfield, I might have some revenge factor here, but if Baker does play, that is. But I think you should take care of the Rams. I think the Jaguars get you. I think you run these two out the building, and I think the Jets beat you. So Browns 8-9, not a bad, not horrible 8-9, but definitely the last in your division, and definitely more than likely not making the playoffs. So yeah, they're a very interesting team. They can range anywhere from like 11-6 to 7-10. You know what I mean? They're so interesting, right? Like they could lose this game, they could lose this game, they could even lose to the Bears. You know what I mean, right? But they could also, you know, they could very well beat the Colts. They could very well beat the Ravens one time. They could very well beat the Broncos. You know what I mean? Like, it's very interesting. I just think this is how it happens. AFC East, we got the Jets coming up. Jets, Bills. This is very important. Bills get the win. I think this will be a reality check for the Jets before they kick off, start rolling through the season. They have the Cowboys up next. I think the Cowboys will be good, but I can't see them being the Jets this time around. And then the Jets obviously go on their 4-game win streak here. Then they face the Eagles. I'll take the Eagles in that one. The Eagles are also going to be a great team. So, yeah, there's all of that. And then we have the Jets versus the Giants. Jets should take care of business. Take care of business. Then they'll beat Buffalo the second time around. Miami, I think Miami will get this win. I think the Falcons will get the upset. Then the Jets go on a tangent to end the year for the Jets to go 13-4. Just ran the entire division. They're a very good team. They should be a very good team this year. We'll see if that means playoff success, However, the Bills, though, they'll have a way better start. And then this is going to be a very interesting game in the UK. This is basically Jacksonville's second home. I think Jacksonville gets that win. But the Bills should just run the table against a bunch of these teams. Come against Philadelphia, I think the Bills will get that upset. Coming against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys get that upset. Then I think the Bills beat the Patriots, and I think the Dolphins beat the Bills to close out the season. For the Bills to go 12-5 and not win the division, and the Jets win the division for the first time in a while. As you see, I don't have the Patriots doing well. They already got a losing record guaranteed. But Miami going to Foxborough. I think the Patriots will get that win, which is actually their first win from what I predicted so far. Again, lose, win, lose. Win, lose, win. Starting, as they do. Then you got the Commanders. I think the Commanders will lose that game. You should beat the Titans. And then I think the Cowboys beat the Dolphins, and Dolphins end off on a 2-3 streak, going 9-8 and competing for a playoff spot. Potentially, probably not. I don't think so. Next up, we have Jacksonville, the AFC South. Wait, no. We have the Patriots, which, as you see, I don't have doing well. They should very well lose to the Eagles. They should lose to the Cowboys. They'll beat the Saints. They'll lose to the Commanders. They'll beat the Colts. They'll beat the Giants. And, yeah, I have it being a rough season in Foxborough this year. 4-13. Not good. Same record as the Raiders. And they lost to the Raiders. If this is how it goes. Now, granted, it could be very different. I think we can all acknowledge it could also be 10-7. I don't know. I feel like this season's going to be insanely rough for them. They got a pretty difficult schedule, in my opinion. And I just don't see it working out well for the Patriots. Next up, though, we have Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville should very well take care of the Colts, take care of the Texans, and then their first of back-to-back London games, and I think they'll win both of them. Then they face the Colts again. I think the Colts will get this one. I think the Saints will get this one, beat the Steelers bye week. Then I think the 49ers will get this one. I think Jacksonville wins this one. They should then lose, win, beat the Bucks, beat the Panthers, and then beat the Titans. Going 12-5, very respectable record. The 4 seed locked in, potentially. How do the Colts do? Well, they should beat Texans. They should beat them. Titans beat Colts. Then I got the Colts beating the Saints and the Panthers. Then lose to the Patriots, which that's in Germany, by the way. I didn't notice that. Bye week. Play the Bucks. Should win that one. Beat the Titans. Lose to the Falcons. And beat the Texans. I think they'll be 10-7. I think they'll be a good team, but not good enough for playoff standing, because you lose to the Ravens, and that was the most critical game for you to win to make the playoffs. This does effectively knock out Miami from the playoff as a playoff contender, and the Broncos. The Tennessee Titans, I think I've been high on the Titans the last couple of years, but not so much this year. I think they'll beat the Saints. I don't expect the NFC South to be really that good as a whole. I think they'll lose to the Falcons, however. They'll beat the Bucks. They'll beat the Panthers. Beat the Texans. Lose to the Seahawks. Beat the Texans. Again, another 7-10 season coming your way. Again, very, very average. And it just, I don't know. I don't see much happening for them this year, this time around. Texans, as you see, I have them losing a lot of their games. I don't see them beating the Falcons. However, I see them pulling off the upset against the Saints. I can see them beating the Panthers and the Bucks. And then they have the Cardinals, and they should beat the Cardinals. 4-13, again, very bad. Not good, but they are the worst team in the AFC. As you see here, this is how the AFC playoff picture looks like, in my opinion. 14-3, 13-4, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, 11-6, 10-7. All the way at the bottom are these 3 teams: the Raiders, Patriots, and Texans. I think the Texans are just not great, but they should be better within the coming years. Now we're going to go on to the NFC side. We got the NFC West, and the NFC West has the 49ers. 49ers should beat the Steelers, should beat the Rams, beat the Giants, beat the Cardinals. Again, I am a Cowboys fan. Generally believe the Cowboys will get this regular season win. I don't think the 49ers are worse than the Cowboys by any means. It's just you win some games you're not supposed to. You lose some games you're not supposed to. I think the Cowboys get this one. They have a big revenge factor for the last couple of playoff matchups. 49ers beat the Browns. 49ers beat the Vikings. Lose to the Bengals. Bye week. Beat Jacksonville. Beat the Bucks. Beat the Seahawks. Lose to the Eagles. Lose to the Seahawks. Beat the Cardinals. Beat the Commanders. And then beat the Rams. 13-4. A very, very respectable record for the 49ers. Another great season should come their way. Next up, you got the Seahawks. The Seahawks should... I think the Seahawks will lose to the Rams this first game and then lose to the Lions. I think they'll beat the Panthers and the Giants and the Cardinals, lose to the Commanders, beat the Rams, lose to the Cowboys, lose to the Eagles, and beat the Cardinals. A 8-9 season. A solid season. Worse than what they were last year, though, I think, by one game. But basically just around the same level as last year. Next up, we have the Rams. The Rams, I expect to be better, but not great. They should lose to the Eagles here. They should beat the Cardinals. They should lose here. They'll beat Green Bay. They'll beat the Cardinals again. They'll lose to the Commanders. Lose to the Saints. And beat the Giants. A 6-11 season, which I'm pretty sure is one win better for them. I think they'll be better, but... And I think a lot of these losses they'll play close. I feel like they'll play the Bengals close. And I feel like a lot of these games that they do lose here, they can win. Like, they can beat the Saints, they can beat the Commanders, they can beat the Browns, they can beat the Seahawks, they can beat the Steelers, they can even beat the Bengals and the Colts. I just have it not working out really in their favor. And then the Cardinals, everyone's expecting this to be the worst team in the league, and I don't blame them. The Commanders, Giants, and Cowboys should all take care of business. Go on a massive losing streak till you get to the Falcons. I think the Falcons is where you'll get your first win. I think the Falcons are definitely a better team, but I don't think they're great. Then you go back on another losing streak, beat the Bears, and lose to the Eagles to close out the season. 2-15, not good at all. Just bad team. Next up, we have the Lions. This one's pretty exciting. A lot of people are high on what they can do. So am I. I think they'll beat the Falcons. And by the way, if it seems like I'm going through this, I don't want to spend... This will be a longer video, and I don't want to make it insanely long, of course. And it's kind of late at night, and I got a bunch of other responsibilities. I should address this earlier in the video. While we're at the pause, check out the links in the description. Check out my homie JonSync. He is back on YouTube. The person I, done YouTube. He's the one who got me into YouTube. Check him out. He's the very first link in the description. And then check out my other socials, which are in the other description. My music, Instagram, Twitter, Threads account, and Discord. But anyways, back to it. They should beat the Packers. They should beat the Panthers. They should beat the Bucks. Just running the table, basically. Then they get to the Bears. I think the Bears will upset them. I think they'll beat the Packers. Saints will upset them. Beat the Bears. Beat the Vikings. Lose to the Cowboys. Lose to the Vikings. 12-5. Very respectable and solid season from the Lions. And pretty much should win the division, in my opinion. The Vikings, they should beat the Bucks. Lose to the Eagles. They'll beat the Panthers, beat the Bears, beat Green Bay, beat the Falcons, beat the Saints, beat the Bears. Right? Yeah. So 10-6 by this point. Well, 10-9 and something, right? Then 3-game lose streak after the bye week, and then beat the Packers. 11-6. Good enough to be a playoff team, but definitely not good enough to win the division. The Bears, I think the Bears will get the win against Green Bay, get the win against the Bucks, lose to the Commanders, lose to the Saints, lose to the Panthers, lose to the Falcons, and beat Green Bay. I see the Bears going 5-12. They're not a complete team like that. Green Bay, this is going to be your worst season in a long time. Definitely going to have a losing record. I can see you beating the Falcons and the Saints, however. I can also see you beating the Giants and the Bucks, but I see the Panthers winning. Again, 5-12, your worst season in a long time, going 0-6 in the division, being last in the division. Then, next up, you have the NFC East. You got the Eagles, the defending NFC champion. They'll be great this year again. I expect them to win their first few games, but come this Commanders game, I think this is where they'll slip up and lose to the Commanders and the Cowboys. Then they have a pretty, 4-game losing streak. Win here, win against the Cowboys, win against the Giants, win against the Giants. 13-4, amazing season. Will the Cowboys be better than that, or will we have our first repeat NFC East champion since the early 2000s? Well, the Cowboys should beat the Giants. They should beat them again. Should beat the Panthers. Should beat the Commanders. But I think the Commanders do beat them on this last game. I think the Cowboys will be a great team, but how does that give them the division? I am very confused on how that gives them the division, because I don't have them winning the division. I guess this is where points come in. Let me see if there's another game here that I could change from the NFC side of things. I guess they'll lose to the Eagles here. Be swept by the Eagles. I'm perfectly able to admit that the Eagles can sweep the Cowboys, and the Eagles go 14-3 and the Cowboys go 12-5 for the third straight year. I'm perfectly okay with admitting that. I do think the Cowboys will realistically win one of these games and will realistically more likely go 13-4, but I'm not doing the points, and I want the seeding to be correct, so I'll say the Cowboys go 12-5 for the sake of the video. I think Washington will be a solid team. I think they'll beat the Falcons but lose to the Giants both times. That's very key. Be 8-9, maybe make the playoffs. The Giants here have one game left, which is intriguing, and that is the Saints, and I think the Giants will win that game. 5-12, not good enough to really make the playoffs. And here we have a very interesting case of teams, because I don't really expect any of these guys to be good. Like, I can see the Panthers winning this one. I definitely think the Bucs is the worst of the bunch since Tom Brady left. The Saints beat the Falcons here. The Falcons beat the Bucs. Falcons beat the Panthers, and then Falcons beat the Saints to rattle off a bunch of wins to go 9-8. The Saints, however, think they beat the Panthers, they beat the Bucs, they beat the Panthers, they beat the Bucs, also go 9-8, win the division. Panthers, I can very well see them winning a bunch of these games. Like, the Panthers could win these 3 games right here. They could win this game. They could win this game. They could win this game. They could win this game and even beat Jacksonville, right? They could very well do it. I just don't see it working in their favor just yet, but maybe next season they can. But they should beat the Bucs both times. Do I really unironically have the Bucs going 0-17? No, I don't. The Bucs should win at least a couple of games. They should beat the Panthers. Let me reevaluate here. They should beat the Panthers. I'll give them the win over Houston. I don't know what I was thinking. This is why you shouldn't really rush this, because you get stuff like that I wasn't meaning to do. And I'll give them win over the Saints one time, making them the and yeah, 3 wins for them. I don't think they're going to be good at all. I don't think this division will be good. As you see, I see the Falcons winning the division, giving the Commanders a playoff spot at 8-9. But yeah, I'm sorry. I did not know that was the trajectory I was going with the Bucs, but I do have them winning a few games. I don't know. It's late. Well, kind of late, but still, I'm tired. I'm not thinking completely straight. But that is the regular season. again, I'm sorry for the mishaps. This is how I see it being broken down in the playoffs. Pretty similar, but not the exact same. Um, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Jacksonville, Bills, Chargers, Ravens. Good playoff sets, right? Eagles, 49ers, same top two. Um, Lions, Falcons, Cowboys, Vikings, and Commanders. Then we scroll to the wild card round. Come wild card time. All right, here we go. So now we got the Bills versus Jacksonville, which that is a rematch, but this time on American soil. I think the Bills get the win here and get the revenge. Chargers versus Bengals. I think the Bengals take care of business. And then Ravens versus Jets. I think the Jets take care of business. Cowboys versus Falcons. I think the Cowboys win. Here I got the Lions winning, and here I got the 49ers winning. This should be pretty obvious. Then here, I'll take the Bengals over. No, do I take? We'll save that for a bit. Here's the big one. Do the Bills beat the Chiefs or the Chiefs beat the Bills? I'm going to take the Bills on the upset. I don't see the Chiefs going back to back. If anything, I see the Chiefs not winning the Super Bowl this year and winning the Super Bowl next year to become a dynasty. But nope, I don't see the Chiefs doing it. I think the Bills get this one. And then I think the Bengals beat the Jets. I'm sorry, Jets, but maybe next year you'll make that Super Bowl. Then you have the Lions versus the 49ers. I think the Lions will play very close, very tough. But is this the end of the road for them? Yes, it is. And then Cowboys versus Eagles. The Eagles should take care of business here. Then comes the conference championship. Bills and Bengals, Eagles, and 49ers. Who goes to the Super Bowl? I think the 49ers gets revenge on the Eagles easy here. I think the 49ers should 100% make the Super Bowl this year. And then when it comes to the AFC side of things, we have the Bengals versus the Bills. Bengals hosting. The Bills have that revenge gene in them. Give me the Bills in the AFC Championship game. Bengals fall short for the second straight year and making the AFC Championship for the third straight year. 49ers, Bills, Super Bowl. The Bills trying to win their first Super Bowl after 4 heartbreaking losses in the 90s. And the 49ers trying to win their 6th championship and their first one since 95. Who wins it all? I think that the I think the 49ers get it. I was very tempted to pick the Bills, but I don't know. The 49ers give me that team of destiny. So do the Bills. This is 2 teams of destiny here, and I just think the 49ers will edge out potentially in a overtime in the Super Bowl. Here is the playoff bracket, as you see here. But I will pick the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. MVP, Josh Allen. Offensive Player of the Year, I think, will be CeeDee Lamb. So offensive rookie and defensive rookie, I think offensive rookie will definitely be Anthony Richardson. I think defensive rookie, I couldn't tell you. I don't really know. I'm sorry. Will Anderson. Duh. Then when it comes to defensive player of the year, give me Sauce Gardner getting that one. And rushing title leader, who will get the rushing title? Give me Joe Mixon if he's still in the Bengals. I can't remember if Joe Mixon's still in the Bengals. If not, then give me Tony Pollard from the Cowboys. But that's my prediction for this season. That's how it really worked out. Do take these predictions with a grain of salt, because I am kind of tired while recording this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video though, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.